All you need is guts.
All right! Now turn!
Okay, so we're now going to review the ski movie Better Off Dead.
This is 150 Days of Winter. You get this view. It's been an incredible day. Thank you all for everybody.
Okay, so why do I use air quotes when I say ski movie? Well, Better Off Dead isn't actually a ski movie as we would call a ski movie nowadays. It is a Hollywood film that contains a little bit of skiing. So that's why I'm calling it a ski movie. It's also, for me, it's quite an iconic ski movie, if that makes any sense. Let me explain. So, the basic synopsis of this offbeat dark comedy is the film stars John Cusack, who lives in a North Californian town and is fixated by his beautiful girlfriend Beth. After missing out on qualifications for the ski team, his girlfriend promptly dumps him for the captain of the ski team.
Beth broke up with me.
Oh, that's nice.
And then John Cusack's character then tries to commit suicide in many comically failed attempts. He is then harassed relentlessly by a paperboy who just wants his $2.
My $2!
And also he keeps on coming across two Koreans who can only speak like an old American sports presenter.
Thus is truly a sublime metamorphosis of the Lane Meyer.
He then meets the French exchange student next door, who of course, being French, is an excellent skier. She starts to give him confidence. His best friend, a drug-obsessed goof-off.
This is pure snow! It's everywhere! Have you any idea what the street value of this mountain is?
Convince him to take on the head of the ski team in a race down his nemesis ski run, the K12.
Go that way, really fast. If something gets in your way, turn.
The film finishes with a head-to-head ski race.
Oh, Meyer, you don't know when to quit.
Which he is victorious. Maybe. We'll come back to that. Anyway, Beth comes back, but he chooses Monique instead, and they all live happily ever after. Yeah, so at the time, John Cusack stated he really hated the film, but he was contractually obligated to make another film for the same director. It's called One Crazy Summer, starring a very young Demi Moore. When they were released in England, they basically both came out roughly the same time. I enjoyed both of these films. Anyway, as time has passed, John Cusack has pulled back on his initial feelings and says, "I just wish it could have been better," which I bet you can say about most films in general. Especially now as the film has garnered a bit of a following. On Rotten Tomatoes, it has a very commendable 77%, which, again, pretty good. It was so let's talk about the skiing. It was filmed in Alta and Snowbird ski resorts in Utah. Even though John Cusack is a great skier, he was in another film much further on called Hot Tub Time Machine. Most of his skiing is doubled by Jim Dunn, who is a great ski stuntman and has doubled for many other people. John Cusack's character is wearing welding glasses instead of ski goggles, which really hamper the peripheral vision for the stuntman. The archetypal K-12 piece is apparently called Great Scott in real life.
Oh, Great Scott!
If you're ever in Snowbird. As in many ski films, and I love this, people ski down the mountain only to magically appear back at the summit. The running joke throughout the film is the paperboy who just wants his $2. In the end, chases Lane down the slopes on a ski bike. There's one great reference that's actually in Hot Tub Time Machine. When they walk into the ski lodge, you can hear someone on the phone, and of course they use the catchphrase $2.
Yeah, well, bet's a bet. I want my $2.
You have to get these in jokes. Anyway, in the final race, which Lane skis on one ski, years before Bodie Miller popularised it, is impressive despite most of the terrain being pisted. Pointed out by a viewer, John Cusack's character actually starts the race a couple of seconds before his opponent. and they finish in a virtual dead heat. So really, his opponent actually skied the course faster. But then that's just me being a bit, you know, I completely get that. What is my verdict on this film? Personally, I grew up through the 80s, and so I caught this film firsthand. And I personally love it. Okay, John Cusack plays the perfect everyman who, I remember this is over a decade before he would go on to play in like Grosse Pointe Blank, Con Air, etc. But a film like this with subject matter of suicide, two Koreans who only speak like Howard Cosell, even the co-star who speaks in a bad French accent, who of course isn't French. Nowadays, all of these things would get torn down because everybody's too overly PC. Bill Cosford of the Miami Herald wrote, "Better Off Dead has the body of a tired teen comedy, but the soul of an inspired student film." And I think that sums it up perfectly, because you can, if you watch it as a teen comedy, you might come away disappointed, but you get that second bit in there, and all of a sudden you're like, yeah, and I get it. Okay, but I think this is best summed up by this story. About 20 years ago, someone asked to borrow this VHS. Okay, now let me be clear. They didn't ask, "Oh, can I borrow any sort of film that you have?" They actually asked for this film by name. Then, when they returned it a few days later, they complained how bad it was, as if it was my fault. Now, I guess you either love it or hate it. I'm in the former category, and you know what? I'm proud to say it. You know, all in all, I would give this film generally, it's a C+. Of course, this review was inspired by one of my viewers, who of course brought up the $2 reference. If you have any comments, please leave them down below. I would love to hear them. And on that, I will see you in the next review. Ciao.